Hello, everyone, and welcome to Love Chat with the Love Twins. It's Michelle. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I feel like I haven't been with you for a little bit, and today it's one of my most favorite topics because one of the things that I struggled with when I was single was, how do I attract a high quality man? How do I get the attention of the right kind of guy? And if this is something that you've either struggled with or you're interested in finding more about, then today's Love Chat is absolutely for you. Because here we are, we're already, can you believe it? Already on the 14th day of January, which means half the month is almost gone. And before you know it, it'll be December 31st again. And if this is the year that you said you wanted to experience extraordinary love, then one of the things that's important for you to know is, how do you attract the attention of a high quality guy? So high quality guys are looking for something specific in their partners and in their future wives. Now, there are a lot of different things, and what I'm going to be sharing with you today are, women and men are different. Not everybody's the same, but these are the top rated ones. And they're in no particular order except the first one. Right? The first one is in a particular order. They're all important. And so you want to grab something to write with. And if you have a girlfriend who you know that she's also really committed to being in an extraordinary relationship this year, and she wants to be able to attract a man who is, open-minded, a man who is emotionally mature, a man who is going to know how to treat a woman, and who's not going to be intimidated by her power or her success or her past, then everybody gets to get something to write with, share it with your friend, and let's make this a year of making a difference for people. I remember I was so confused because I kept attracting the wrong kind of guy, and they weren't necessarily all of them bad guys. There was one in particular that had very bad behaviors, but they all in general had some bad behaviors. And I kept wondering, hey, Helene, I kept wondering, why is it that I keep attracting that kind of man? But not only why is it that I keep attracting him, why do I keep being attracted to him? That was even the more, I think, pertinent question to ask myself, because they were attracted to me, but I was also attracted to them. It was like a magnet. And this is why in our work, we talk about being magnetic and how energy is a real thing. And we're going to talk more about this. You want to make sure you keep your eyes out on this Facebook group, or YouTube channel, or wherever you're watching us, that you keep your eye out on that. And for sure that you are on our email list, because we're going to have some incredible events coming up in the next few weeks that are going to support you in manifesting the love you've always wanted this year, not in another year, not in another 2 years. And if you do the work that the majority of the women who work with us do and are able to create that relationship within 3 to 9 months, and that is a statistic. And you've heard the ladies, if you've been to our events, over and over again, we ask, how long was it between the time you started working with us, even if it was 12 years, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 2 months, since they've been in a relationship. They now were in a relationship with someone that they started working with us, and within 3 to 9 months, they were in a committed relationship with someone that eventually became their husband in many cases, the father of their children in many cases. All right. So I want to go ahead and give you some information now. What I was saying earlier is, why was it important for me, and why is it important for you to ask yourself, what is it that has those kind of guys be attracted to you if it's not the right kind of guy? And what has you be attracted to them? And I'm going to give you some of the things that high quality men are attracted to and looking for in a partner. And I'm going to give you some coaching on how you can cultivate that, some pro tips on how you can cultivate that within yourself. Because if there's something that's blocking that in you, then you absolutely get to connect with us. And we're going to be putting, letting you know how you can get in on the list before it's even open to the public, to be at our event that we're having on, let me just make sure on the date, because I said it wrong today and I just want to make sure I say it right, on Wednesday, January 29th, we're going to have unlimited love workshop. Now, some of you came before the end of the year and some of you weren't able to make it. And so we're bringing it back, and it's getting us all ready for an event we're having in February called Love Vision 2025. We have not done that event in a couple of years. So I'm going to give you more information on that in just a little bit. But here, I want to go ahead and get started today. So what are some of the things that high quality men want in a partner? Well, Forbes did a survey and they found a lot of different characteristics, but these are some of the ones that came up in the top list. The very first thing that men were looking for in the order that it showed up on the results was emotional stability and maturity. Emotional stability and maturity. So what does that mean? A woman who is emotionally stable and mature is a woman who knows how to express her, not hold back her emotions, but express her emotions, her feelings, her disappointment, her joy, her confusion, whatever it may be, in a way that doesn't shut down communication, in a way that demonstrates that she's even aware that there's something going on with her. She's starting to feel either uncomfortable, she's starting to feel angry, she's starting to feel like she wants to close up and withhold versus being connected with the person. Or she's, maybe you grew up in a house where everybody was yelling and everybody was upset and everybody just called each other names and there was a lot of chaos. Well, what happens is if you don't heal that piece of your past and you don't learn new skills, you're going to repeat those patterns. And if you don't, it's going to come from a lot of forcing and trying to white knuckle and grind through it to keep it inside. And that is not what our work is about. So our work is about being genuine in the expression of who you are. And we're going to talk about that because that came up on the list too. So an emotionally mature woman is a woman who is aware of what she's feeling. She's aware of what's causing that. She's able to express it in a way that's healthy and productive. And she's also aware of what's going on around her with the people in her life, with her partner, as she's communicating. How is the way I'm saying something, how is the way that I'm acting impacting the other person? Okay? So that's the first thing. Somebody thought it was money. No, it really is emotional maturity. Now, a lot of people, they're intimidated by that because if you don't have the skills to do it, you've never done it, you've never been emotionally mature, you might start to think, well, then I guess I'm out of the game. No, you just get to learn from experts like us who have taught so many hundreds and hundreds, reaching upon thousands of women on how to express and communicate. Those of you who are at the Irresistible Woman Live learn some of the communication skills that we teach our clients. And we've received so much feedback from you saying, oh my gosh, this has completely changed the way that I communicate. Even we have a client who said that her boyfriend said, I don't know who you're talking to. This is just weeks after the event. I don't know who you're talking to, but something's different. Something's different. So emotional maturity. Yes, Valerie, I'm so glad that you have been able to work with us and that you are now, and you are the first. Valerie is the first documented relationship in 2025. We're only in the 14th day. Within the first day of the year, we had our first committed relationship, and Valerie has done her heart work. That's the work that we do. Her heart work to transform what wasn't working, what was hurting, what wasn't healed, and be able to use the work and the skills that we taught her to be able to create what she has stated is the most beautiful, loving relationship. She's actually stated that she's never experienced before. Valerie, we're gonna have you come on as a testimonial. At 72 years old, she's experiencing that level of love. It is never too late. It is never too late to learn. It's never too late to heal. It's never too late to transform. It's never too late. You just have to have the skills that are effective, that make a difference, and that work. So that you experience ease, so you experience speed, and so that you experience it in a community of like-minded women, like the women who are here. All right. So that's the first one, emotionally stable. The next one that was at the very top of the list is being respectful. And this is something that we have, since the beginning of our work 15 years ago, we've been researching because we were able to transform ourselves and really rise above and override our past so that we could have the kind of love that we have now. We grew up in a home, lost a father, dysfunctional relationship. My mom with her second husband, and then her third husband, very dysfunctional, abusive, alcoholism, mental illness, all those things we grew up in, and yet we were able to override the past by healing it and learning what do you do instead. And it's not always the opposite. It's not always the opposite. And people think I'll just do it the opposite of what I'm doing. Sometimes that works, but most times you've got to get to the root of what's there in the first place. And we're going to be talking a lot about this at the Unlimited Love event that I was just talking about on January 29th, and then also at the Love Vision 2025 event at the end of February, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, because your brain and your body, I want you to consider, they have been trained to react to things that have happened in the past that aren't happening now, but something reminds you of that. You're in a triggered response, you're in a trauma response, and you're right back in that moment again. Even though the person standing in front of you is not the one who said it to you the first night or did it to you the first time, or even you didn't even know them. Or maybe sometimes it is them. All right. So respect. Why is that so important? And this is one of the things why I brought that up is we've known this for years because we've studied it for years. It's one of the things that for men, they prefer to be in a relationship with someone who respects them than someone who loves them. Now, for a woman, that might sound counterintuitive because for us, we want love and respect, but love comes first. So a really good way to remember this is that men experience respect the way that we experience love. It shows up for them the same way. So if we are not treating them with respect because we're calling them names or we're criticizing all the time, or we're correcting what they do, or we're second guessing their decisions, or we're being the man in the relationship and overriding, what he says, not accepting any kind of influence from him, which doesn't mean that you take his advice. I was coaching somebody today. When you accept influence from a man, he sees that you respect him. He relates to that as respect. That doesn't mean that every single time you're going to take his advice. It does mean that you let him know that you appreciate him providing it. And that when he does say something that could make a difference for you, you take that under true consideration, because when you are with somebody that you respect, you're going to listen to what they have to say. And a lot of people think that being disrespectful is just screaming and calling each other names. It's not. You could be disrespectful in very subtle ways and not even recognize that you're being disrespectful. For example, if you're constantly correcting the way that your dates or your boyfriend or your husband, your partner does things. If you ever hear yourself, you should do it, or the way I would do it, and nobody asked you, if nobody asked you, you're being disrespectful. So respect in front of others and behind closed doors. It's as important in both places. All right. So that's the second one. I want to hear, what are you all getting as I'm going through just these first two? What are you getting for yourself? And I really invite you to bring some humility to this, because none of this, if you're being, let's say, for example, being disrespectful, or you've not demonstrated emotional intelligence, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means there's a skill set that's missing. And the skill set that's missing is missing because you've either never been taught to do it a certain way, you observed it being done another way, or you don't even know why it is that you do it the way you do it. And a lot of times we don't even know why we're doing what we're doing. All right. So what are you all hearing for yourself? So that has been my biggest breakthrough in this program, the emotional healing. That's great. That's awesome, Teresa. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, it is encouraging that Valerie is right there at 72 and she is experiencing love like she's never had it before. Her words, her words. So that's great, Helene, that you say, you know what, I may be doing this with my dad. I was coaching somebody yesterday and I said to them, actually, no, it was this morning. And they're like, well, how do I practice this? Because I'm not dating right now. She's learning how to date, where I'm going to be, she's one of our clients, so a private client. So we're going to be looking at her, her profile and giving her some feedback, helping her create something that's really magnetic and attractive to the right kind of guy. And she's not dating right now. I said, listen, you want to practice in the relationships you're in right now, with your dads, with your brothers, with your friends, with your sons, with your cousins, with your girlfriends. Sometimes we're just automatically giving people advice and they're not even asking for it. Like if you're here today, I'm asserting that you want some coaching, right? But if I was in a conversation with you, I wouldn't necessarily tell you what I think. And if I felt strongly about something, I would ask if you wanted to hear what I had to say. And if you say no, I'm not going to take it personally. If you say yes, I'm going to share it in the most respectful way possible. Right, let's see what else. The 3 C's, I was trained really well growing up. Oh, the 3 C's, that's what you got from the Irresistible Woman Live, which is, part of being controlling, which is a major turnoff for high quality men, is when a woman criticizes, complains, and corrects what he does. So learning how to release control since then, Cynthia says, and feeling much more peace. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Judith says, yes, respect is important. Good to hear. I haven't had a problem with this. Equal respect for both partners. Absolutely. Here's the thing, though. You want to be the energy of respect and love and all the things we're talking about, because when you do that, then what happens is you have a much stronger energetic vibration and a much stronger chance and pull to bring in somebody who's a match for that. And then Patrice says, I'm sad to see how disrespectful I am when I share without being asked for my opinion. Everyone in my family is like this. Yeah, so it's something that you learn over time. So, you get to learn how to do it a different way, but you also get to undo, unprogram, unwire yourself from that behavior. And what we do, and you know this because you're in one of our programs, is we actually replace it with something that, after we've gotten to the source of it, you replace it with something that actually works, and it works beyond what you would have thought about, like Cynthia was sharing. Okay, I'm gonna keep going here because I want to get you as many. We're gonna go for 5 today. So one other very important trait, characteristic that men look for, especially high quality men look for, is authenticity. So authenticity is not about being perfect. Authenticity isn't about having all the answers. Authenticity is about being yourself. And one of the best ways to be yourself, and this is one of the things that I would say was one of the biggest lessons for me, and is one of the things that I really want to share with women as often as I can. And I really hope that you take it into your heart right now, is that it's not about perfection. It's about loving yourself enough to show up as who you really are. And let me tell you something. Who you are is not your past. Your behavior is not who you are. You may be behaving in a certain way, like Patrice was sharing there and others were sharing in the chat, but that's not who you are. Who you are, in many cases, is layers under dysfunction, hurt, pain, lack of skill set, all those things. So when you're being authentic, you really like who you are, and then you show up that way. Again, it's not about perfection. You're not trying to be perfect. You're being yourself. So that also has an element of vulnerability, like really allowing yourself to be seen and known for who you are. So you're not on stage and you're not in a protective state. You're being who you are. And you understand that there are things that make you unique, and you own that. You own that. You get that there's nothing that you have to pretend. There's nothing to mask and pretend. So you get to remind yourself that you may have made some mistakes and you may not always get it right, and you may not have all the skills that you want to have yet, and you're still amazing. And when you could really feel that way about yourself, those moments that we all have of self-doubt and maybe being a little bit critical, they get shorter and shorter and more space between them. You know, one of the things that's really important for you to be authentic and for you to show up really strong and emotionally intelligent, even respectful, is that you learn how to speak to yourself in a very loving way. If you are beating yourself up, or you are judging yourself, or you're putting yourself down, or you're criticizing yourself, because those people who are judgmental with others and critical many times, and we all have some element of this because we're all human, but it doesn't make it effective just because everybody has the potential to do this. But mostly people who are very harsh on other people are very harsh on themselves as well. So you want to make sure that you're being loving of yourself, that you bring acceptance to yourself, that you heal whatever piece of you thinks that it's broken, or whatever piece of you somebody said something about and you believed that you weren't enough, or that you weren't worthy, or that you're not deserving of having an incredible life and incredible love. You get to heal that by coming to either unlimited love, which is where we're going to start the work. And then actually I'd say come to unlimited love, because the unlimited love starts within you. And then the Love Vision 2025. Because that's how you get the skill. That we're actually going to be doing work both in the workshop, the Unlimited Love Workshop, and the Love Vision 2025. And by the way, that event, if you've never been to it, it is so different than anything else that we've done. It's a lot of fun. It's also really great work to do, to create a vision that's not given by all the other stuff that's in the way, but it's really clear, crystal clear. And the clearer you are about what you want, the more likely you are to be able to recognize it and attract it. Okay. So yeah, Judy, I hear you. I get it. You know, my heart goes out to you. And so you're here for a reason, ladies. You're here in this community for a reason. You may have popped, across the Facebook ad, or been in somebody's event or summit, or maybe you saw, somebody told you, hey, I think you should come to this event. These love twins, Gladys and Michelle, they really know what they're talking about. Whatever way you got here, make the most of it. And that's what I'm going to tell you in just a moment. Actually, Diane, let's go ahead. If you are really clear that 2025 is the year it's going to happen for you, the year you're going to transform whatever needs to be transformed, let go of whatever gets to be let go of, heal whatever needs to be healed. This is going to be a year like no other. We've already declared that 2025 is a year like no other. Like, this is your breakthrough year. If that is true for you, and you want to receive information about the Unlimited Love Workshop, and the so that you can find out, we're going to be talking there about the Love Vision. Go ahead. Let me see, Diane, what are we telling them to type in? Go ahead and drop it. There's going to be a word you're going to type, and what we're going to do is we're going to collect all the words that that are typed in. Okay, you're going to type vision. Type the word vision right now in the chat. If you are not willing to wait another year, not even another 6 months, because like I said, it really, honestly, 3 to 9 months, you could be in that relationship. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to try and figure it out on your own. You do not have to make it up as you go. You don't have to make all the mistakes that I made when I didn't have anybody guiding me. So I see a lot of you are putting vision. Send your girlfriends a note. Tell them, come in here and type the word vision, because you're going to receive the information as soon as it's ready. We're going to start promoting in the next couple of days, and we want as many of you there as possible. And we want you to be able to do it in an environment that you're supported, and that it's as easy and as fast as possible for you. It doesn't have to be hard. It's really hard when you don't know what you're doing. That's when it gets really hard. I am so glad so many of you wrote that. Okay, so I talked about emotionally stable, intelligent, and mature. We talked about being respectful and what that looks like. We also talked about being authentic. Here's one that you may not think based on what a lot of people talk about out there, but they want a woman who's ambitious and driven. Now, doesn't that debunk the myth? See, the men who are intimidated by your power are not high quality men. So if you keep attracting a man that you feel you have to shrink down because he feels threatened by how successful you are, don't make him wrong. Just stop attracting that kind of guy. Learn how to stop attracting that kind of guy and start attracting the guy who sees a driven, ambitious woman and says, wow, I am so attracted to that kind of a woman. And I'm not talking about the woman who all she does is talk about work, because that's not attractive in a man, is not attractive in a woman either. But it's someone who knows what she wants and is actively in her life out there creating it. And it could be in her job, or it could be in her health, or it could be in her community, or it could be with her children. It could be with her family. It could be in all the different places that you could think of. When he looks at you, the energy he gets, the experience he gets is someone who knows who they are and knows what they want and how, and is actively out there doing something about it. Because it really doesn't work to say you want something and then do nothing about it. You know what that's called? It's called complaining. When you say, I want, I wish, and you do nothing to try, not even to try, because trying is another way of wanting but not doing it. No, what are you doing to achieve your goals? You know how many times I hear women say, I've done everything, I'll do anything to be in a happy, loving relationship. It's what I want more than anything. And then I say, okay, do this assignment. And it's like, oh, it's 10 questions. Or I tell them, come to a 3-hour masterclass workshop or come to a 3-day event. It's like, oh, I don't have time. Well, how committed are you? How committed are you? You want to know what you're committed to? Look at where your feet are. Look at where you find yourself the most. Look at where your thoughts are focused on, and you're actually active in creating that. And sometimes the things that we're committed to are not the things that are going to get us where we want to go. How many of you know that? If you know that, type me in the chat. If you know that there are things that you're committed to that are not actually moving you towards extraordinary love, they're actually impeding, imploding, and keeping you away from what you want, type me. Not that you're doing that, but that you're hearing that yes, you recognize that. And then how awesome would it be if you had guidance on how to stop that? See, I kept saying, oh, why do I keep attracting these guys? But I didn't know how to stop the cycle. I didn't know why I kept going after that kind of guy. First of all, going after, right? You hear the language? I was pursuing all the time. I didn't even know I was pursuing. I thought I was just being confident. And these were all the mistakes I made that you don't have to make anymore, because we have figured it out. We have figured it out. And there's so many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, like I said, going upon thousands of women who have been able to transform themselves and transform their love lives and create the kind of life and love that they want. All right. And I'm going to put one more here. And this is important, because I sometimes see women not recognizing how important this is to a man. And those of you who were at the Irresistible Woman Live, you heard about this. But a man wants a woman who's supportive. Now, I'm not talking about you're paying his bills, or you're doing his stuff for him, or you're running his life, or you're taking care of his, responsibilities for him, whether it's cleaning his house or taking care of his kids or whatever. I'm not talking about supporting him that way, because I say that because a lot of times that's what we hear, especially if we've been attracting relationships and men that we're over giving, or we feel like we've been taken advantage of, and we are not really sure why we kept we keep ending up like that. Or maybe, you know, oh yeah, I'm a people pleaser. Well, how do you stop being a people pleaser in a way that's easy, in a way that works, in a way that's fast? Because knowing you're a people pleaser will not have you stop being a people pleaser. It just gives you awareness and it gives you information, but it does not give you transformation. And so what we mean by supportive is a man wants to know that the partner who he's with not only respects him, which is one of the ones on the top of the list, but she's supportive of him and his goals and his vision. She may not agree necessarily that that's what the number one thing he should be focusing on, but she's going to support him in that. She's going to support him in that. She's not going to second guess his decisions. She's going to tell him what he should be looking at. Like, honey, you did great. I'll tell you, my husband, Arnie, he was on a call the other day, and it wasn't an easy call to be on. And he said, I'm going to go ahead and make the call. And I said, okay. And I happened to be within earshot. I wasn't being, you know, he knew I was right there. It wasn't a private conversation. And when he hung up, I said, you were awesome. And he looked surprised. And I said, you were awesome. The way you handled it, you were diplomatic. And at the same time, you were very straightforward and firm in your stand. You asked questions to find out what was really going on versus assuming. And you found out so much information, there'd be no way of knowing. You were awesome. And he was like, thank you so much for saying that. And yes, Judith, absolutely. It goes both ways, sweetheart. And every time you say that, what it's telling is you haven't experienced that. Of course, if you're supportive of men, you want to be with a man who supports you too. How are you going to become the kind of woman who attracts a man who's also going to support you versus you feeling like you're the one always doing and giving and sacrificing and giving things up? Because a lot of us here have been through that. I went through that. You give and give and give and give, especially if there's some conversation about worth or there's some decision you made along your life that if I do X, then I'm going to get this. And again, it could be something you observed, or it could be something that you just decided. Like, for example, oh, if I just give people what they want, eventually they're going to give me what I want. Well, maybe, but if that keeps not happening, there's something in the way. Don't you want to discover what it is so that you can attract it? I don't have to worry about whether or not my husband's going to support me. He is super supportive of me. I was sharing a moment, a beautiful moment that happened in our relationship because I saw how surprised he was about that. I was so proud of him in that moment. And I know it wasn't an easy conversation for him to have. And I'm so grateful that I have somebody who's willing to stand for other people in the way that he stood for the person he was talking to. And that is not what I used to attract by a long shot. I transformed myself for myself, became who I wanted to be in a very genuine and authentic way, healed what I needed to heal so that all that old energy, all that hurt energy, all that feeling taken advantage of energy was out of the way, and what was there was me. And when you do it, what's going to be there is you. And he will be able to find you, and he will be able to recognize you because of who you are being in your life. So again, if you didn't type it the first time and you want to be added to the list, Diane's gathering everybody's names so that you are able to get the information and be at the Unlimited Love workshop. It is actually a workshop. We're going to be doing some work during that workshop to start building the vision, to start seeing what it is that you want, not based on what you think you can have, but what your heart truly desires. And again, it's going to be Wednesday, January 29th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. There's an opportunity to upgrade to VIP. And we're going to start working on the love vision that's going to manifest itself. It's going to, if you don't like the word manifest, it's going to be created and come true this year. Last year, I lost count. I believe we had 15 committed relationships, 6 wedding engagements, and 4 weddings in 1 year. Women all around the world, all ages, all backgrounds, all cultures, all experiences, levels of education, it doesn't matter. The skills at work work. And you get to be a part of that and you get to experience it. All right. So if you didn't type the word vision before and you want to be added to the list, go ahead and do that now. Awesome. Look how many of you are so ready. Listen, this is our year. This is it. Breakthrough year. Don't have to wait for another one. Allow yourself to be there and receive what there's to receive. Come to Love Vision in February 21, 22, 23 as well. We're going to give you all the information about that at the Unlimited Love event. And let's get started early in the year. Early in the year. No pressure, just a lot of fun. All right. Okay, ladies. So thank you for being here today. What was your biggest takeaway? Let's see if we can get a few of them before I sign off. What was your biggest takeaway today? What's something that made a difference for you that is like, you know what? That's something I could do. That's something I can let go of. That's something that I can transform. That's something that'll make a difference in my life. I want to learn how to do that. What was your biggest takeaway? And your takeaways are the things that you're not just going to keep in your head. You're actually going to apply them in your life. You're going to apply them in your life because it is through the practice that you get to create the mastery that will have you be able to create anything that you want. You're so welcome, Valerie. Okay, I don't see anybody writing their biggest takeaway. You might be typing. Okay, here we go. A start of more positive energy and thoughts. I love that, Judith. And that's where it begins. What you tell yourself, every thought you have. Ladies, we're going to go really into this at both of these events that I told you about. Every thought that you have carries energy with it, carries a vibration with it. And what happens is your brain is constantly listening to what you're telling it is true. And it believes what you tell it is true. How many of you have watched a movie? You know you're in a movie theater, right? You even see like the start of the show, the start of the movie has names showing up on the screen. And yet it's a scary movie and you are terrified and acting like it's actually happening in the movie theater. It's on the screen. You're sitting in your seat. You know it's not real, or you're in your living room. Your brain can't tell the difference. It can't tell the difference from what it's seeing and perceives as danger or wrong or bad or not enough and what is actually that. So what you tell yourself matters. What you speak to others matters. So I'm so glad that you got that takeaway. That's awesome. Let's see. We have other ones. I never thought about treating my dad the way I would treat a boyfriend and husband. Awesome. So you get to start practicing with your dad. That's great, Helene. Something about the fear shows up in control. Yes. Yes. Control is a function of fear. So whenever you feel controlling, there's something you're afraid will or won't happen. Thank you, Cynthia. Vanessa says, to learn to be more respectful of my partner by learning to speak to myself in a kind and loving way. That's awesome. What a shift, right? In perspective. You get to be that with yourself and then imagine that. Now the words are flowing to your partner as well. You're welcome. The list of order of what men found appealing. Thank you, Lisa. I'll make sure not to do the 3 C's on Mark. Great, Valerie. I can learn to be respectful, Patrice says. Having a love vision and plan for the year. Yes, Amy. And Catherine. Oh, great, Catherine, you're coming. That's awesome. Need more ambition and drive. Yeah. You know, why not? And then we get to add in there consistency, because that's another thing that came up. I didn't get there, but wishy-washy, in and out, not attracted to high quality guys. So we can show you how to do that. Claudia says, I statements, being respectful to a high quality man. Beautiful. Let's see who else. I can heal my past so that I can be fully present in the current moment. Yes, you can, Patrice. Awesome. Michelle says, need more confidence and positivity. We got you, girl. And then from one bow to valley, be more positive. Great. Thank you so much for being so interactive. I love when the love chats are interactive like this. And we're here every Tuesday. Sometimes if we're not here live, you'll get some replay. And that happens only if we're out of town or it's a holiday or something like that. But we're here every Tuesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. here to support you, to answer your questions. If you have a specific topic that you would like us to bring into a future love chat, you can leave it, put topic and whatever topic you want, and we'll make sure that we get that to our team so we can give you what you need and want to have, so that you can transform your love life. So this year is your breakthrough year. Breakthrough breakout year. All right, awesome. So thank you all so much for being here. We're going to wrap it up. We'll be here again next week, 6:00 p.m. Eastern, on Love Chat with the Love Twins. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye for now. Bye.